Welcome. My opponent's rocking Penny at the point with Michael Jordan in his backcourt. That is a strong defensive backcourt with a lot of height. And I've got Allen Iverson back at the point for me. And I'm going with my fast team, Michael Cooper, Bill Russell, Shawn Kemp. Expect to see a lot of alley-oops. But what I really want to talk to you about is my approach to next year's My Team mode. This idea is something I've been thinking about for a while. But first we need to cover a couple of assumptions. Now, the My Team mode could be completely different next year. What if there was some sort of open market where you could just buy the legends outright? Opening packs and the difficulties that come along with assembling a team of great legendary players may not exist next year. So if that's not the case, then what I'm going to say is kind of pointless. But I imagine it will, because I think it is part of the game. I think getting these legends is something that's difficult. It takes a lot of time. I don't know if farming's still going to exist, but even if there's an auction block, players like Allen Iverson, Shawn Kemp, they're going to be extremely tough to find. Well, one of the things that's interesting about my team is even you can have all of the gold legends. You can have every current day player, unlimited amount of VC, but they each have their own personality. Shawn Kemp plays different than Jerry Lucas, who plays different than Karl Malone. And if you have a solid team, your starting group, and you just decide to start flip-flopping your starters from game to game, the way you play your offensive and defensive ball is going to change dramatically. You can't do that alley-oop I just threw to Shawn Kemp to Jerry Lucas or even Karl Malone. But you can't go into the post with Shawn Kemp like you can with Karl Malone, and you can't shoot threes with either of the two of them like you can with Jerry Lucas. So coming up with a game plan that matches up with your players is something that's important, and it's very difficult to flip-flop from game to game your play styles with your players. So how am I going to approach 2K14's My Team mode? What I'd like to do is first get a feel for how the game actually plays. It sounds like, from some of the reviews I've heard from iPod King Carter and Shake and Bake, that there's going to be a new, and look at Jordan's double dribbling right there. It sounds like there's going to be some new shooting and dribbling stick skills that I'm going to need to pick up on. So the way I'm going to be able to figure all that out is by going into an association. I don't think my player is going to help me out very much, but I'm going to go into an association mode, create a team, and get used to the controls, the passing, the dribbling, the shooting, because I think it's going to be different. It took me a while to adjust to the shot stick this year, pulling down the left trigger on the Xbox and getting those different shots off. At first I was very upset about it. I didn't like the way the shooting was. I found myself messing the shot up plenty of times because it took me a while to acclimate to the changes. But once I did, and the further along I got in playing this game, the more experience I got, the more I liked it. And now I kind of appreciate the fact that you can go to the rim and do a left or right-handed layup and have full control over it. You can launch a floater or try a dunk depending on the way you hold the stick. I really enjoy that. So I don't know what it's going to be like in next year's game. It sounds like it's going to be completely different, and everything that I've learned for this year's game is going to be out the window. So hopefully it's better, but sometimes changes don't always lead to the best advances. I think they got it right this year. I hope it's the same next year. So how am I going to approach assembling my team? Well, it's kind of unrealistic for me to assume that I'm just going to get all of the gold legends or be able to pick and choose the gold legends that I want. I'm not going to, wait until I get Allen Iverson before I start playing my team. That's silly, because I'd just sit in the 8th seed. I may never get there. I mean, imagine if I made a Road to Hakeem edition. I'd never play a game, and I like playing these games. So what my goal is to do is to get a couple of solid gold legends, a couple of solid current day players, and build a core around them. And I remember when I started opening packs this year, I got Jerry West right off the bat, and I was pretty excited about him. I had seen him in Smooth's videos. I didn't actually start playing the My Team mode until about April, and I didn't really get serious about it until May. I think that Jerry West was one of the first really good players I got, and then very shortly after that I got Isaiah and Iverson. It was fun because I had those guys in my backcourt all the time, and I got used to all of their abilities. I don't know if I'm going to get any of those guys or if I'm going to get all those guys right off the bat next year. But whoever I get, because I know I'm going to get some sort of point guard and some good players at each position, I'm going to have to figure out what their strengths are and play to them. And that's the challenge. I'm going to take some time and build a strong core of players and then try and get through all the seeds with those guys. And you'll notice that's kind of what Smoove did in his My Team mode this year. He got all of his players by about the 4th seed, and when the competition really started getting higher for him, he knew exactly who was on his team. He knew when to go to them and what they're capable of, because he had played so many games with them. He didn't need to open more packs. He didn't need to go find players that he was looking for, to make small tweaks to his lineup. He had played with everybody on his lineup. There are better players, I think, that he could have put in, but he didn't because he wasn't used to using them, and he played to their strengths. And that's something I want to do next year. The guys I specifically would like to have are, of course, going to be Iverson, but what I really want is a dude that's fast. It could be Isaiah. I think Isaiah's like Iverson with a slightly poor jump shot, but better passing and handling. It could be, CP3. Who knows? There's going to be somebody in my backcourt that's really quick, that can dunk the ball by himself on a fast break for that guaranteed bucket, and a guy that can pass. There's not too many people like that, legend or current day wise, so I'm going to have to find one of those guys. When I actually started this mode out, before I started opening packs, I had Damian Lillard out there, and he did the job quite well, actually. He could play some really good defense, and he could shoot the 3, which was important, and he also knew how to dunk and pass. He's a really good all-around player, especially for that 50 VC rate. But I don't know who I'm going to get, but I'm going to get somebody, and I'm going to get a lot of work with him. The trap I fell into last year is I'd just keep rotating guys in and out of the lineup all the time, and I never really got used to it, and I didn't know what their releases were. I didn't know how to effectively use them, and that's why I lost a lot of games. So I want to do better next year, and I also want to make it more entertaining and challenging. I don't like repeating the seeds if I don't have to. I also like getting the legends, but I'm going to have to be dedicated to winning games and make it more entertaining for you guys to watch as I go through this next year. I had no idea what next year is going to be like in terms of acquiring players and whatnot, but I'm sure it will be a lot of fun, and I enjoy bringing it to you. So my goal is to get a bunch of legends off the bat. I may not be able to get all the guys I'm specifically looking for, but I'll build a core and then make small changes later on as I go through the seeds. In this game, it's kind of back and forth. I got out to a huge start. I think it was up by 10, and then my opponent got up by about 10 or 12 late in the 4th, even after it was tied. But I'm going to come back. That corner 3 from Melo magically doesn't go in right after Jordan had just missed an alley dunk off the inbound. And I've cut it to a 2-point lead. And I'm playing some pretty good defense. You can see this animations going back and forth between Penny and LeBron, where they can barely handle the pass. But that and one is not an and one, it's a charging foul. I didn't try to take the charge. It just magically appeared, so I'll call that luck. And look at Penny, he's trying to take a charge himself. So I got Mark Price in there with the 4th quarter signature skill. Let's see what I can do with him. I'm just waiting. He passes off to Kemp. Kemp's going to find a way straight to the bucket, but I'm not going to dunk it. For whatever reason, I'm not satisfied with a tie game. I need to shoot the 3-pointer. And he fouls me, so I'm going to inbound the ball, and that was kind of scary because Iverson wants to run out of bounds on those. But Mark Price jacks up a wide open 3. That doesn't go in. Jordan is trying to take the charge, and he just watches that 3 go in. I get the 1-point lead, and there's 7.5 seconds left. I've been in this situation many times, and I've lost the game. I know some people will say, hey, you could have held on to the ball a little bit later. That's not really my style, especially with the game so close like that. I'm happy. I got the lead. Now I need to figure out a way to play some defense. So I put Gary Payton in there with Michael Cooper, Michael Jordan, and the rest of my defensive set. Gary Payton doesn't have the lockdown defender signature skill, but he is really good on defense. So Michael Jordan's dribbling on the arc. Who's he going to pass it to? I'm getting in the way with Gary Payton. He doesn't pass it to anybody. He just jacks up a contested shot, and I win the game. What a miracle at the end there for me. And I was happy with the way my team played here. I'm getting some good use going back to Iverson, Michael Cooper, the team I like to run, and I look forward to bringing you this mode again next year.